So time was called, and Sax was able to nab a game 2 under time, and so there was a sudden death to decide who wins game 3, which means they set up as normal, but the first person to take a prize card wins. It was pretty crazy. It was fun to watch. There were a lot of entertaining matches today. Steven versus Ryan was nuts. Ryan, I mean, he doesn't mind me sharing what he's been saying that he's going to further work on, which is he's running like a dragon deck with Enamorous. So like Hydreigon, Enamorous, and Enamorous says all your Pokemon with Fairy Energy can't be affected by the opponent's abilities. And then he uses Hydreigon to freely move the dragon energies around. So he couldn't get touched by Water Shuriken and stuff like that. Yeah, Sax had the notes. That it was a running joke the whole tournament. But you know what? It kind of isn't a joke though. You can bring notes, and he actually had details about like very strong openers. So good for him to remind himself what he wants as openers. How's it going, Justin? Good to hear from you again. I'll be right back while that loads. guess his avatar is not fairly on the avatar is. Well, Justin, I know you were talking to me about some FPS stuff yesterday. What are your favorite SPS games? And I will translate for you. Okay. So you've seen a video. Well, Justin, this is the melee of FPS games. I'm not the only one that says that. This game started as just a passion project by the company. It came out in 2007, and it turns out that it has a lot of competitive depth. But unlike Nintendo, Valve fully supports the competitive scene, and they're like, hey, let's make in-game medals and awards and announcements for you guys. So it's grassroots, but the company doesn't want to shut them down. In fact, they're like, yeah, go for it. Oh, okay. So in this game has 9 classes. And each class has like a very high skill ceiling. There's all these different methods to play them. It's kind of like a fighting game. There's so many ways you can outplay the opponent. I'll go in order. So I'll start with Scout. Scout is the fastest. He's all about holding flanks, pushing and capturing objectives. So look at the bottom, Justin. You'll see that little blue cart like right here. If we get that to the end, we win. You look at the timer at the top. If we don't push the cart in that amount of time, we lose. So that's kind of the gist of it. And so Scout has a ×2 capture rate. So if I get on this cart, look at the bottom, it's ×2. So when he's not moving around really fast on the map, he's pushing capture rates at a double rate. So that's Scout. I'll play Soldier next. Soldier is like the roll compression class. It's interesting. This game doesn't have like a jack of all trades. All 9 of them are specialists. So Soldier's big thing is he's like really good at holding flank, but he's also just really good at roll compression because he can do a lot of great things. Like overall, like he can fire explosive rockets with splash damage. He can cover your medic if the medic needs a pocket partner. He can hold objectives well. So right now I'm peeking. I'm not pushing the car. I'm kind of trying to control a flank. Now that's Pyro. I'm going to play him next. He's my main. Pyro is pretty good against Soldier because left click you shoot flames, but right click is an air blast. Think of perfect shielding in melee. Imagine like being able to like just right click and perfect shield projectiles. That's what this air blast does. And so when, see like right there, the soldier's firing rockets, and I just parried it back. But you have to re-aim. It's not like it auto-syncs back on the opponent. I have to reposition my aiming every time I air blast. And it costs 25 of my ammo. If you look at the bottom right, that's my ammo count. So this game's all about like good weapon ammo management and stuff like that. Every class has like 3 weapons, a main, a secondary, and a melee. So when you see me switch to the shotgun, a big part of Pyro's game plans revolve around quick switching. So I'm gonna do like puff and then sting with the shotgun. So right now I'm just poking. We're kind of trying to get this flank back so we can like lock in pushing in the car hopefully. So we're pushing in. So there's the car. This is enemy territory, by the way. So we're really trying to push in. It's like a raid. When they flash red like that, that means they're invincible for a few seconds. It's called Uber Charge. So Pyro is big on protecting your teammates because of stuff like air blasts and that he can like keep a very safe close mid-range for your teammates. So I'm playing Demo Man next. Demo Man is like the enforcer. Like his explosive damage is so high and it affects so many players. Like the area of effect of Demo Man is really high. Alright, so we want no one right now. The community server is where a lot of us, KC, Melee, and other people across Kansas City and all the other states come together and do group games. So later tonight, we might have like lasagna or ramen noodles pop up with my friend John. And we just like to play TF2 a few times a month. I don't know if you saw, but on Facebook and I guess on Discord, a few of us went to a St. Louis LAN for this game a few weeks ago. It was a lot of fun. I mean, if you want to join the community server, it's in the description. No pressure though, but that's where we play Pokemon and this game. I'm sure Kuda's told you about the Pokemon TCG. It's pretty good. It wasn't a tournament. It was like a fun TF2 player get together. So we did a lot of competitive stuff, but there wasn't like a bracket and all that. But it is a lot of fun. I wish our last game was streamed, but I'm glad it was like archived in a replay. I actually think I have it saved in my replays. I didn't think of check. So I'm playing as Demo Man. Demo Man's like the enforcer, like I said, because his AoE damage ceiling is extremely high. It's the highest in the game. And so being able to create space, like look, I'm shooting these remote bombs and they don't detonate till I choose them to with the right click. And the threat of like, see like right there, I'm creating space for my team. If I want to say like let's push or let's hold, Demo Man plays a big role in all that. I'm gonna go heavy. So Yeah, yeah. Yeah, when I see you and Kuda do teams, there's some similar stuff. Especially the fact that, Smash teams is Super Smash Brothers teams is friendly fire on. This game there's no friendly fire, but like in Melee, you gotta really. That's why I love that meme that some Falco players hate playing doubles. I'm like, oh bro. Then there's people like PJ that are like, no, I like the challenge of having to laser around ramen noodles when they team, or when we team, quoting as PJ. Alright, so I'm playing as Heavy. He's like the grappler of the game. He's like the sustainer. He has the highest HP. His damage is crazy close mid-range. Like you see this right here, I'm revving up my rotary minigun. And anyone that comes into this premise just gets shredded. So they have to play really safe. Usually Heavy is like the elephant in the room. So once the team knows I'm here, they're just gonna start like accumulating damage on me, like overall. Like you have to, on average, expect the opponent to start treating you like a boss battle ASAP once they start figuring out your position. Yeah, the team stuff is very entertaining, but you know what, Justin? You've been doing good in singles too. I've been telling some of the players, especially the newer ones, they'll ask me like about, they'll talk about their recent losses or how to get better in tournaments, and I'm like, in all of the best reasons, our scene is very competitive. I mean, there are some poor sports still, sadly, but overall, I just tell people like, yeah, it's an arms race now. If you're not practicing, there's a lot of players that are willing to get on net play all the time between tournaments. So it's a good competitive arms race for sure. So it's cool that you've been able to come back, with your old favorite character Samus, and I actually think that's awesome because Lasagna restarted KC Melee back in 2021. He talked to me about it, and he said, I want to bring back the vibes of like the Pew Pew days. And he's like, I think enough time has passed that we could start doing tournaments again, because of COVID and stuff. And, players like KC Blue and G-Dubs, they're new. And so they didn't really know about you until you started showing up again. And so to see you show up with Samus, like, it kind of threw a monkey wrench in some of their, like, expectations. It was awesome. Now, G-Dubs is very open-minded, so I'm sure, like, when he first fought you, he's like, oh, a Samus, awesome. But I do wonder how many people, like, were not expecting a local, KC Samus player to show up again and just start doing so well. I think it's really cool. So Engineer is like the motor engine of the team. Oh yeah, don't worry about that, Justin. Justin, if anyone ever tries to ridicule you for your character, that's a them problem. I'm not even kidding. You've experienced that there are some fragile egos out there. They can't admit being outplayed. It's so funny. Aww. See, Justin, I wouldn't see you like that. So it takes you to be honest with yourself and me. So, good on you for just being able to communicate like that, I never would have expected that. And don't worry what other people think. Also, Engineer is the motor engine of the team. He has all these buildings that can help support the team, like whether it's like healing or teleporting. I'm gonna go try to build a sentry. How's it going? Sax, you definitely need to play with the list that you have. In fact, actually, Sax, I'm not releasing the update until you and Steven play. And if you're not going to be reasonable about it, I know Steven will be reasonable, so. Sax, I think you'll have... I'm going to give you about a week. I'm sure you and Steven can arrange a match in a week. Okay, so, yeah, so Justin, I mean, you already knew this after we talked a while back. My first competitive Smash was Brawl. Obviously, my first Smash Bros. Was 64. You know, 1999, my uncle and cousin and their neighbor had it downstairs, and I was like, you know, I saw the roster and I recognized Fox, I recognized Pikachu, you know, Mario, DK, and I was like, Yoshi! You know, Yoshi's Island is my favorite video game. But ironically, I didn't recognize Link or Samus. They didn't have like any of the characters unlocked at the time, so I knew Luigi and Jigglypuff. I didn't know Falcon and Ness. But yeah, Brawl was my first competitive Smash because, you know, like we brought up the GameStop tournament, and then I played a lot of Wi-Fi tournaments, and I did ladder. I did like the same ladder as like YouTube King. We were both on like the All Is Brawl ladder. I never played him. In fact, I didn't play him until he showed up in Pew Pew that one time. Anyway, aspirations. I just love to compete because my philosophy, I'm like borderline addicted to challenge. And so like this right here, this is like really good competitive practice. When I'm not playing like organized 9v9, like these specific servers are like one of the best ways to practice competitive TF2. And I just like competing. It's kind of like, you know, I'm sure you've caught on. There's a lot of like older generation people that are playing a lot of chess now. They like to keep their brains active. My mom and stepdad do it. You know, they, and I don't mean older like they're old. I'm saying like our parents' age. Like they're starting to, you know, I've noticed that people in that age group are playing chess a lot more. Even people younger than us, because just being able to keep challenging themselves and growing, like in terms of like strategy, and it's good for your brain. It really is. In fact, like my mom's a therapist. She has shared like the whole, like there's like psychological studies about that kind of stuff keeps your brain active and actually fights against stuff like Alzheimer's. So not only is like constantly competing just good for you, like keeps your, you know, the brain juices flowing, the brain wrinkles forming, you know, I just like doing it. So Melee, P+ is my favorite Smash. My favorite competitive Smash is P+. Aesthetically, I love 64. As you know, P+ kind of went down in play because of all the Nintendo stuff. Ironically, what's hitting Melee now. So, you know, P+ just sadly went down in play, and we didn't have as many tournaments. So Melee is my second favorite competitive Smash. So I just like competing. I'm sure you picked up Pokemon, TF2, Street Fighter, Smash. Yeah, I hear you, Sax. Let me know. I will stream that. You know, I will stream you and Steven playing. I'll make a YouTube video of it. It'll be great. Well, Justin, at least because Melee is delving into like mods and rollback netcode and stuff. Thankfully, a lot of those, again, we're talking about insecure people. There were people that like they thought they could have the funniest joke by saying, oh, P+ is a mod. But if you take UCF away, they go ballistic, you know? And so now they're recognizing that, oh, okay, first off, the joke's not funny. You know, they should have recognized that the first time they tried to say that. But second off, you know, Melee is pretty modded now. Frozen Stadium, PM did it first. No wobbling, PM did it first. Ledge grab limit, you already know. Oh yeah, Sax. I got the app is not finished. I will keep my phone forever charged and not die until this tournament's over. so that we can get the results in for the Magic the Gathering app. There were some crazy sets. Like I said, if we had the Reroll Tavern venue, I for sure was getting ready to stream it in they were going to give us that second room, or the venue next door, so we're getting there. Yeah, no, Justin. I mean, people say, and including me, if Brawl was PM, Melee would barely be played. Melee would be in the state of 64, so not like barely played. It would have its scene, but Brawl if it played with Melee tech, oh my gosh. I think we brought this up last time we all carpooled. Like, even if the game was not changed balance-wise, Meta Knight is over-dominant, people would still love Brawl, like, that love the Melee physics and stuff. It went to Game 3, Sax, and then, timed, with time and stuff. We're definitely starting tournaments a bit earlier. No blame anywhere. I know, like, some people were late, and I knew, as time was getting closer, we also were banking on the Magic players to finish the last round, but a lot of them just split the prize, so they kind of closed a bit earlier than expected, which is fine. We just need to start at like 11:45, 11:30. But K. Willie's deck did good against Ryan. I wonder if K. Willie's going to play the same deck. So anyway, I'm playing Engineer. This is my Sentry Gun. We're holding this last point, Justin. If they get this card in here, we lose. So this Sentry Gun is like, it's a Sentry Gun. See? It's going after them. If it can stall out time, it's already doing a good job. So. You know what's interesting, Justin? I actually learned this only recently. And it was like players like Yono that also pointed it out. So KC Smash was like, KC Melee especially was known to be like Falcon City. So even though I joined competitive Brawl in 08, I didn't meet up with the KC Melee guys until early 2013 when they showed up to a Street Fighter tournament. And still at that time, it was Falcon City because you had Dark Rain, Jace, Bobby Frizz was still playing Falcon at the time. So anyway, KC Melee was known for Falcon City. But if you remember, 2013-15 was that era where Hacks was going around saying that Falcon isn't viable, and then even Dark Rain called him out at that UGX tournament he won. And so Yono was talking to me a while back, and I didn't realize this. When PM came out, they buffed Falcon a little bit. And at first you're like, whoa, Falcon has a hard time against Fox and Falco. And they only buffed him a little bit. That's where, some people were wondering about. But this was before 20GX, and Yono thinks they kind of lucked out in balancing. Because if they believed in, like, the hack stuff about Falcon, like, quote, being not viable, they might have buffed him even more, but Falcon is in such a good state in P+, because he already was good, but then all the Melee 20 GX stuff starts showing up, and then it's implemented into P+ Falcon. It's really interesting. So. But, I think it's interesting. Characters like Falcon and Samus, who, like, at the time, Falcon was kinda meta. Samus was kinda meta, but not, she was on the limbo back in, like, 2013-ish. Falcon was meta. Lower usage than other characters, but it's just interesting when you look at those characters and what they did for PM. Alright, so the reason I didn't switch classes yet is when Engineer switches, all his buildings get destroyed. So I'm holding these buildings down for our last hold, and then I'll do the last 3 classes. Yeah, so PM kind of played it safe. They kind of, I think they had like really good foresight. They were like, yeah, Falcon's a great character. They didn't like over buff him. And so when you look at P plus was, you know, they did a lot of changes overall. I love P plus too. Falcon didn't get changed a lot compared to a lot of other characters, but he's in a good spot. You know, they gave him his Falcon side B, or his Brawl side B. Crazy good. So good that sometimes it looks like Falcon mains, when they play a little bit of PM, they try to go back in melee and accidentally do his side B to recover. You know, they don't really get the leapfrog recovery there, so. Alright, so we'll play Medic. So obviously Medic is the healer of the team. If someone is at full health, I give them what's called overheal, which is temporary overheal. Like, look at the Spy's health, 185. Spy's normal health is 125. So for a temporary time, he's going to have decaying overheal, which is really cool. You look at the bottom right, that's my Uber charge. That's when we're invincible for a few seconds. Really big for like pushes. And on defense, it's good for holding chokes and stuff. So it's Medic. Medic is the queen chess piece of TF2. The king chess piece is the objective to win, but Medic's the queen. Like, just like in chess, if you can choose a piece to go after, you generally go after the queen if you can. So I have a big target on my back. That's why it's important for like Pyro and other classes to protect the Medic if they can. Pyro's big job is to protect the Medic heavy in demo. That's like his main competitive plan A, like his main competitive strat overall. So I'm gonna push out with Uber with this Pyro. Going in. Oh, dash attack. Yeah, DK's dash attack in P+, it has light armor, and the fact that you can jump cancel off an edge is really good. What a good, like, neutral mix-up tool. It's really strong. And it's game accurate. They didn't add DK's roll till Smash 4. To the point that this was when Strong Bad was still around in KC Melee. He just bluntly said, yeah, they ripped off us, you know. Sniper next. So Sniper is sightline control, like this. There's my teammates on the objective. And he has the capability to one-shot any class in the game. If you get a headshot, it's 150. 5 of the 9 classes have 150 or below health. And then for the higher HP classes, if I just wait a bit, you see my little lightning bolt, and that's my charge. Just, you know, more damage on a scoped shot. So my next and final class for this demonstration is the Spy. It's a very good counter to Sniper. Spy is the sabotager. Spy has the ability to go past... Imagine a character that could bypass neutral, get behind the opponent, and gimp them 0 to death. So, I'm about to go cloak. Oh, we won. I'll play Spy one more time for the demonstration. But Spy can cloak so the opponent can't see me. And then Spy can also disguise and act like one of the opposing teammates. So you can do all these ways to bypass neutral. And then with your knife, if their back is turned, it's an instant kill. And he's got a revolver. I love his revolver. It's like just good, reliable damage, especially the fact that Spy can see the opponent's health. So I'm actually going to go on this watch that lets me stay invisible for as long as I want. But if I move, I lose invisibility faster. So what I'm going to do is scout out, or I'm going to like get intel on like, we're in setup time, so I'm going to look at the opponent's like approach options, because you can like peek into spawn. Oh yeah, so Justin, yeah, I love all the stuff they added for P plus Samus. Yeah, her brawls there, you know, they kind of like buffed it a bit, but it was pretty good in Brawl too. I'm sure you've seen Smash Ultimate Samus like Zaire. So it's really cool that you can missile cancel in P plus and then also have Zaire. Okay, I'm gonna go. Okay, so they have this choke point down. I'm gonna go check the alternate choke point, just like right here. That was good. So that's that Spy was just like disguising as one of our scouts, stood still, and backstabbed. Alright, so there's your demonstration. But yeah, I main Pyro, second Engineer, third Spy, but I also just Phil. So those are my top 3 like main classes. But I also prioritize Phil, which means like we don't have a sniper right now, so I'm going to sniper. What's funny is that Samus is more floaty than Yoshi, and so I was actually curious about how that was going to happen, Justin, because Yoshi and like Fox are heavy enough that down throw is just always, like almost always puts us in a tech situation, and Knuckles is really fast, so Yono's really good at tech chasing, and to the point that it's like Sheik versus Fox, but Knuckles is faster than Sheik, so some of those differences start popping up. And so, yeah, I was curious about how Knuckles Samus would work, but yeah, his down throw's really good. So in this mode, Justin, I also should explain. You look at the bottom; those are the points we're defending. If it's red, it's ours. If it's blue, they took it. If all 5 of those squares turn blue, we lose. So we are now protecting B. If enough blue teammates get onto this right here, then we lose the control. So in a lot of these game modes, red is defense, blue is offense. There are some game modes where they're both offense, defense, like control points, but in this game mode, red is defense, blue is offense. TRK, I thought you were my agent, but if I have to keep informing you about, you know, all the content going down, you know, the PR, the media, what am I paying you for? Oh, that's right. You're not employed. It was good. Actually, so we found out that the... Oh, okay. That's your one save, TRK. Smooth. Okay. Now if you use it again, uh-oh. So, we found out that the venue, like, hard closes at 6, which is fine. Totally respect that, you know, that schedule of theirs. And we had a few players show up late, which is fine. Nobody, it accumulated to that, and the Magic players got done early to the point that for the last round, they split the prizes. And if they were going to stay later, we would have got like the full matches in, like based on like time prediction. So anyway, Sax vs. Steven was so head-to-head that it was only game 2 when we had to leave. Steven gave that to Sax, as in, like, it was one prize each, and they were just kind of like, they basically were saying what would have happened, because time was called, we had to go. And so Steven's like, I'll give you the win. And so they're gonna finish round 3 online, and I'm gonna stream it. It'll be in, like, the next week, because there's a big Highlander update that's about to come out, and I won't release it till their match is done. Their match is finished, and then I'll post, you know, then the tournament results are done, they can get their prizes, update, world peace. Yeah, it's kind of like game devs, TRK. I gotta keep quiet about updates. You know, I know there's gonna be stuff in this update you guys are gonna love. I gotta be quiet about it. But it's out. There's gonna be an update. That's the news. Like a big update. I can't tell you what's in it. Wait about a week. It'll be out in about a week, or you know. But yeah, about a week. There you go. Now don't start countdown days. Sure. I mean, the last tournament I gave Steven a first prize win. It was an Amazon gift card. I'll post about that tournament, the online one, soon. There'll be info on that. And that tournament will be using the update. Again, I can't tell you what it is. I can't give you an unfair advantage, TRK. Now, if you pay me $20 as a loyal member... Okay, just kidding. Not doing that. Are you kidding me, TRK? We're not doing some like tier list of like who gets the leaks because they paid me money. No! Go spend money on groceries you enjoy. Go get some of those Oreo cookies, original double stuffed chocolate. Those are all good choices. TRK, I can answer that real quick. Rev Room will be added to Highlander once there is a second Rev Room. So that's up to Pokemon TCG. You know, they have one Rev Room right now. They're going to have to make another Rev Room card before I even start developing a Rev Room in Highlander. Highlander Rev Room? He doesn't exist yet. Well, I gotta have enough data. That's kind of the beauty to this like process is, you know, I'm not just like throwing darts in the dark on how to make a Highlander version. I want the Highlander Pokemon to stay true to like their general identity in the history of the card game. So when you look at Highlander Torterra, he's known to do Green Blast. There's a Torterra that does Land Shake, Sunshine Song. You know, I'm taking all these design notes from iterations of Torterra in the Pokemon TCG, and like its history and stuff. Honestly, Sax brought it up earlier on the stream. This game is actually going to be really big for results. because Ryan and Steven and K. Willie and Sax were really going ham this tournament. You know, I was planning to stream this one, but it's okay that we couldn't. But there was a lot of good matches. It's really cool to see Highlander just get more and more competitive. Nice try, TRK. No, Nationals weekend is not allowed for tournaments. Steven, and we have a few other people in the Discord that are going. So, TRK, you can't nerf Steven. You can try to feed him false information. You know, you'll be like, hey Steven, I got the tech. And it's Don Dozo and 59 water energy. And you know what? If there's anyone that's really going to push that as meta, it's Steven. He's that good. TRK, I didn't enter today. I was judging. And I'm not done judging. What's your next post? Let's see it. We had two people that couldn't make it. They messaged me this morning, and they both had really good and kind of sad reasons, both like medical. One for like a family member. It's like really sad news. No one's died, but one of the participants, like his sister, I just found out today has cancer, and she's going through chemo right now. So I was like, oh dude, yeah, stay home, help your family out, you know. So we were gonna have like 6, 7, but we had some people that couldn't make it, so we ended up having 4. It's alright, yeah. Now TRK, I know, before you even say it, you're like, if I lived in the United States, I'd be there every time, Spire fan. I'm like, TRK, hold on, calm down. You know, you can go do other things in life, you know. Like I said, go get groceries, drink water, you know. There are other hobbies besides Pokemon TCG Highlander, TRK, and we should never shun people for wanting to go play Super Smash Brothers, or Street Fighter, or go to anime conventions. Hey, TRK, hey! Final day for what, TRK? School? Fine. No, stay in school, TRK. Don't drop out of school for Highlander. Oh my gosh, TRK. You know, we're not a full booming business yet. Hold on. Bye, TRK. See ya. Yeah, Cameron, I was wondering if that guy with the F-Zero AX cabinet was back. I thankfully got to use that in 2018. That literally is a life bucket list. My life bucket list is pretty short, but playing F-Zero AX was on that list. So far, so good, you know. Game of life, I cannot complain. That's just also a good way to live. But Cameron, I meant to finish what I was saying on Discord. We actually had a college course that was all about Reaper. Like I took a digital music production class that was all on Reaper. And Reaper is, my teacher called it, Reaper is free like Nagware. But that's not like a bad thing. It's just he's a big Reaper advocate because first off, he is like me, where it's like when people say they use GarageBand or Fruity Loop Studios, I'm like, I always try to recommend Reaper. And it's nothing wrong with GarageBand and Fruity Loops, but those are kind of known as like early and like mid-early level DAWs. But Reaper is like a professional DAW that's free. So when you told me about the Reaper stuff, I wasn't in disbelief. It's a really good digital audio workstation. Man, we got some salt in this chat. Honestly, Cameron, if you ever find yourself needing to edit audio, Reaper is the way to go. It's really good. No, TRK, not rigged. They got us good. They had good defense. TRK, what is camping but us needing to hone our offense? Here we go. You know, TRK, I bet you're in this game right now. TRK, you said it's your last day. Don't you need to prepare? You know, is this like Majora's Mask? Is it, you know, that serious? You're making it sound like that. TRK, you don't have to be here. You know, you said vacation. Who said the vacation's over? Not me. See ya. You did wake up early. TRK, it's 11:30 over here. Yeah, woke up early. You probably set my notifications to your alarm clock. Highlander dev leak. Highlander dev leak. Too bad. Not sharing. Now see, TRK, that's a winner's mindset. Wake up early, be productive. Well, TRK, I will share the exact... I will only share the information I shared at the tournament. It's a big update. There are new cards. It's also an update. So there you go. You'll find out in less than a week. You know, we're talking like... I'm looking at a Friday release. TRK, it's almost Sunday here. You know, can you wait 5 days? Yeah, TRK, you can play Reshram if you want. He's pretty good. TRK, you're acting like me in middle school when I was waiting for the release of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. We're talking 2006. I was like, oh my gosh, early 2007 couldn't come any sooner. Looking at like the decks, like from Japan, I was like, whoa, Tangela evolves, Yanma. Yeah. TRK. I'll do one leak. It'll be on the Discord. It'll be public knowledge. It's just me saying, hey, expect an update soon. You know, as you guys prepare your decks for the online and in-person June monthlies, know that there's an update coming Friday. An update. And then I'll post in Wingdings again, like on Woods. What's he saying? What's it mean? Venusaur? He's gonna just say, win the game? Larry EX? Honestly, TRK, okay, you know what? Here's the leak. Here's the leak right now, TRK. World premiere. You and this other listed viewer get to hear the world premiere leak before I share it on the Discord. The majority of this update, keyword major, keyword update, will enhance around what you're already currently building. There's not really going to be a lot of Pokemon alteration. That's it. That's all I'm saying. I will just say, can't say more to anything you ask about the update. That's it. know Steven's. I mean, I was there every time Steven played Highlander. So he's been playing Highlander since 2016. He was at Game Cafe, and he witnessed some of the early players like Ryan playing the game, and he will tell you he got so bored and tired of Standard that he was like, wow, this looks like a lot of fun. And he's been playing Highlander ever since. So anyway, past decks he's been playing, a recent one, he played Honchkrow with Crawdon. So if you have your database pulled up while we're talking, you look at Honchkrow and you look at Crawdon. Honchkrow's power says once per turn, you can revive one of your opponent's basic Pokemon from the discard. Crawdon says if they have a full bench, you get to bounce whatever Pokemon you want on their side to their hand. So because of Honchkrow, the opponent often had a full bench. So then Steven just kept picking and choosing whatever Pokemon the opponent was trying to set up. It like super stuns them. And then Honchkrow level X has an attack that does 70, and if you knock out with that attack, you get any card you want from the discard pile and one of any cards you want from the deck. So he would grab the card Toy Catcher, which says any Pokemon at a certain, like 50 HP or below gets pulled up, rinse and repeat. It was pretty good. Okay, TRK. Spire from Metroid? Yes. Yeah. Classic win for that bounty hunter. He's awesome. Definition of a badass. Him and all the other Prime Hunters. I mean, teams are, pretty even on average. It's not really a color thing. Now, I will say, so Uncletopia, the servers that I practice on, which I'm on right now, is like the best practice overall you can get when you can't do like 9v9 organized scrims. One thing that it sounds like they're going to implement it in the future that Uncletopia doesn't have, and this isn't a complaint, but that scrims do, is it's called stopwatch mode. So whenever we play like the cart pushing mode, instead of it being a fixed amount of time, and it's like just flat out win or lose if the cart makes it in, stopwatch mode doesn't count a win or loss until both sides push. And it's like the first red team establishes the record, and then the next team has to beat that record to win, or they lose. When that's not involved, then you might see a little bit more of red winning on average in that game mode because there's no stopwatch, but also defense naturally does require some patient play. It naturally asks for some like safe play. You're really gauging the choke points you're holding overall, and so you know, these servers tend to have mid to top level players, but you know, especially around that mid range, there can be players that might not recognize how important patience is, especially on defense. So yeah, there's a little bit of that average you're seeing, but it's fun. Like, I just like playing the game, getting better, competing, all that stuff. I do like the volcano axe. I will use it right now. Here we go, TRK. The sharpened volcano friend. Yeah. Here are the stats. 20% damage, but it ignites them on fire. So, with all of the afterburn, it does do more damage in total. But if they run for a health pack and they start healing, it does circumvent the burn damage. Or like it stops the burn damage. TRK. No, Trickster. I've heard about Trickster. Sounds like a cool spirit. You already know who I mean. Aw, TRK, update spoilers, come on! TRK, you can only have 3. Oh, I thought you knew the rules. Oh, you're gonna run Gigalith? Nice. You know, we were talking at the tournament today. I'm actually gonna give someone $1 for the first player to enter a tournament with every single Super Smash Bros. Pokemon in their deck. So you're gonna have to run Charizard, Venusaur, Blastoise, Incineroar, Mewtwo, Greninja, Lucario, Wigglytuff, Raichu with Pichu. Obviously Pikachu's in there. Can you do it? Lucario? Ryan was like, I could do that. And I was like, yes, Ryan, you could. Okay, TRK. Now you're humble. I thought you liked trolling. Who says this deck's for trolling? Play to win, TRK. that's called the rain blower. Are you ready for this, CRK? I don't know if you're ready for this. We're gonna go to Pyroland. Still flames, by the way. Okay, TRK, not bad. TRK, there could be a lot of blood on this weapon. I mean, yeah, you get iron, but I don't think you're a vampire. My favorite dessert. I don't know if you... I actually don't know what this translates to in Dutch, but is a chocolate trifle. What that is, cold chocolate pudding layered with Oreo cookies, whipped cream, and more Oreo cookies. And then you just keep it in the fridge overnight, and it's just this giant chocolate trifle filled dessert goodness. Awesome. Would pay a ton of money at restaurants for it, but you can make it cheap at home. Yeah, chocolate trifle. That's my favorite dessert. It's pretty easy to make, TRK. You know, like I said, cold chocolate pudding layered with whipped cream and a bunch of Oreo cookie crumbles and it's just all layered together. You put it in a giant glass bowl, and then it's like a cake, like a glass cake container, and then you wrap it. You put like saran wrap or plastic wrap over it, and then you keep it in the fridge overnight. That is my go-to favorite dessert. I don't see it often at restaurants. The closest thing is they have like these dirt cups, and I think the gummy worms are good, but I don't think you actually need the gummy worm. Gummy worms are not in chocolate trifles by default, by the way. That's a dirt cup thing, but dirt cups are good too. And then don't get me started on pie. Oh, obviously as an American, it's in my DNA to love pie. The only reason you should not like pie and you're an American is if you're like lactose intolerant or you're allergic to a lot of things in pie. But there's alternatives. So, let's quickly go over my top 3 pies, which is chocolate cream, pecan, and apple. There you go. Yes, Dutch apple counts. Dutch apple's really good. All right, TRK, you heard it. There's the compliment. Develop that joke more and I might laugh. Ha! Oh, almost got me. I'm kind of out of that generation. I remember when a friend tried to show me those, and I'm like, yeah, it's not my realm, Random. You know what, TRK? I get it coming from you, all right. But if you want to be my agent, you might need to cut down on ASDF movies. TRK, are you trying to set requisites? There's already a policy. Don't tell me you're trying to break the policy. This will be my last game. Hold on, let me, actually need to plug this in. I'll play 2 rounds. So defense, offense. Yeah, we'll call it a night. That was me, TRK.
Mission begins in 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I am fully charged. Defend our castle.
There's a lot of like movies, books, and games that cover the philosophy of immortality. A really good one is Mother 3 or Earthbound 2. The spoilers. The main antagonist, Porky Minch, who's also one of the 2 main antagonists of Earthbound. He abused time travel so much that his body stopped aging. And at first, you know, the common reaction to that is, oh man, this bad guy is immortal. Like, he's an evil guy. He's an evil person. And so you're thinking like, oh man, out of all characters, you know, why couldn't it have been a good guy, or why does the evil guy get immortality? But the interesting thing that it covers is that just because you're immortal doesn't mean you can't be defeated. And that's what happens. It's like a Naruto with that, he's one of my least favorite characters, Hidan, the Akatsuki member. He's immortal, technically, but that doesn't mean he can't not be defeated in battle. And so when he lost to Shikamaru just sealed him in his family grounds. And he's like, as long as my family's around, you'll never get out. And he was like blown to pieces. So anyway, Porky might be immortal, but Porky was defeated by the main characters. So what does he do? He doesn't want to admit defeat, so he jumps into what's called the absolutely safe capsule, which means nothing can ever harm the capsule. But whatever enters the capsule can't come out of the capsule. So they kind of cover it. Technically, he'll be immortal, and he won't die, but he can never leave that capsule. So he's by himself for all eternity. Like, the guy that created the capsule, Dr. Anunnaki, even said, even if, like, he said that even when at the end of time, when all the suns blow up, or etc., the capsule will still be there. So think about that. You know, if you're immortal, everyone else is gonna leave eventually, but you're still there. And he's evil, so who knows if he'll ever reconcile with becoming a better person. And when he does, who's around for him to talk to? Oh, excuse me. There's also, I learned this in Intro to Philosophy, and it's something I've always gone by ever since I learned about it. Well, I actually already lived by this philosophy, but when I learned it has a name, I definitely have shared it a lot, and I really love this one. It's called Pascal's Wager, and it's basically, you make a test cross, 2x, 2y. So you have a chart, and there's 4 squares. These are your 4 options of how you view, like, the afterlife or living and all that. And on the x-axis, all it is that there isn't a god, there is a god. And then on the y-axis, it is, you know, I believe there's a god, and then at the bottom it's like, I don't believe there's a god. And basically, it's basically a test chart of, like, net positivity. I know last time you were talking about your family losing faith in a god. This is more about, at the end of the day, it doesn't hurt to have like hopeful thinking that maybe there is an afterlife where you get to see your friends and family again. But even if there isn't after you pass away, that kind of like positive thinking can actually just like kind of help your well-being in life. And that's also backed up by, so my mom's a therapist, and you know, she says that not only is nihilism destructive to your way of life, like if you want to be happy, but it is important that you live your life with a tiny bit of ignorance. Rather than stressing about, oh, I'm gonna die one day, what does it matter? You need to be like, I'm here, I need to enjoy life, I want to help others be happy, and make sure you have enough for yourself too.
Mission begins in 30 seconds. Mission begins in 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. To the car!
Well, I mean, in terms of mortality, like the circle of life is obviously once an animal or plant passes away, you know, they decompose into the ground and it feeds nutrients and the soil. But in terms of like spiritualism, um, you know, it's just that hopeful thinking that maybe there is something after this, and you can, you know, your self-awareness, you keep that intact, kind of like what Star Wars does with Force Ghosts. You know, my thing is, it's just very, it's kind of, I like to say like agnostic, but not with the negative connotation of it. Some people think agnostic means like atheist, and if you're atheist, that's your thing. But mine is like I always say hopeful agnostic, where it's like kind of like your family. There are a lot of things that are just downright evil in life, and you're like, how could this be allowed? Like when people pray and stuff. My thing is hopeful agnostic that aligns with Pascal's wager, where it doesn't hurt me to think that, hopefully, there is a God, and hopefully he will care for people that have suffered, and hopefully, kind of just to relax and be in paradise. So. But see, that's the cool thing about spiritualism. I don't have to monetize it. I'm not going around telling people to join my cause and stuff, That's kind of like a Taoist philosophy. They're not in it for the money and stuff. They're here to share their philosophy and way of thinking. Hopefully it invokes other people to think about the world and what life means to them. I mean, there's a quote from a Greek philosopher that always stuck with me about, might have been Socrates, but one of them definitely said, ancient Greece, they're like, self-awareness is our greatest gift and our greatest curse. Very interesting. Yeah, that kind of delves into ignorance is bliss. Some of those animals that pass away, or they're in near-death situations, their instincts tell them to stay alive, but they're not questioning like what's going to happen if I don't. But for us, if we get in that swamp with a bunch of alligators, we're already like, we're really gauging like what could happen. Obviously you got to protect yourself. One of my favorite video game series is Mega Man. It's actually what got me to become a composer. Mega Man actually covers a lot of stuff we're seeing right now, because Mega Man's all about robots and human-like robots. And there's actually a part in the Mega Man comics where Mega Man's fighting Needle Man, and Needle Man basically says, at least humans can at least try to hope for an afterlife. Like, he's basically saying, at least humans might have like a heaven or an afterlife. He's like, but what do we have? He's like, we're robots that are made self-aware, but we don't even have a heaven to look forward to if it happens. But what is interesting is in Mega Man there is kind of like a robot heaven. Like there's an equivalent of like the robot afterlife, called like the Elf World. Like it's like the Elf World cyberspace. And in Mega Man Zero they cover that, those robots go to like the Elf World. first. I actually, ever since I was a little kid, when I learned about reincarnation, I was not a fan. Because like the fact that I would lose my memories, it's, you know, now reincarnation is often about like if you lived a good life, that can continue to like spin upwards, and if you were a bad person, it might be bad for you in the next one. But yeah, losing your memories and you're born as like a new person and stuff, I wasn't really a fan of that. So definitely the first. I mean, I'll tell you one thing. You know, I've lived a good life so far. I don't mean that to boast, but I have told my parents at a young age they did their best to give me the best life possible. It's also because I just grew up, I learned to appreciate what I have. You know, we live in a world where people complain about the smallest things, the smallest inconveniences. A gentle breeze goes their way and they go ballistic. But for me, I live in a great home. I have caring parents, good friends. The home I live in, from an outside perspective, might be like, oh, you know, middle class American home. But to me, I'm like, this is great. You look at the Middle Ages and they saw what we live in as like a palace. Like the average household, the average home is a palace. So if heaven is anything like this, I'm good. If heaven's on a beach and I'm not worried about eating to survive, I'm good too. Yeah. Yeah, I asked that question too. Because forever is forever without an end. Yeah, you know, you have to ask what are my bounds and limitations and all that. I mean, that's another thing that a lot of fiction goes into is, sadly, it's generally with the bad guys, probably because the bad guys don't want to lose power and they view death as the ultimate loss. And so there's all those like fictional stories of like a villain that dies, and so he tries to find ways to still continue their evil deeds even after they die. Um, like they're so sinister that they have like a parting like shot of destruction they try to do. So you think about like, you know, how does someone handle the end, you know? That was the big thing about Frieza in Dragon Ball. Frieza wanted to be immortal because he's like a controlling tyrant, and to him death was the only way to undermine all that control he's established. Nah, I mean, if I can stay me in the afterlife with like my thoughts and memories, I think that's cool. There's always stuff to think about and ponder, and it's cool to just... I'm a very observant person, I'm sure you've picked up on. like, someone made an amazing tweet the other week, and I need to go grab it again. I liked it, but I need to go grab it and archive it. And someone said, I don't think people realize how amazing of an experience going to the supermarket is, because most people go as a routine, like it's on their to-do list, like their errand. But I've done that. Like if I want to get some cardio in, sometimes I will just go to the supermarket, and it's just cool to see everyone there has their own like life they're going, their own plans, and so it's interesting to observe. You're kind of wondering like, what's that person doing? Why is that guy here? Why did that guy pick the discount soda and not the main brand? Is he on a budget? And then you look at the rest of that guy's shopping cart and you're like, oh, I hope the best for you. And then you see another guy getting a bunch of steaks, and then next week he might not be paying, might not be getting as many items in the basket. So it's very interesting. I mean, it depends on what your landscape can be. Some religions say that the afterlife is, you can create a world, or you're like omnipotent, which, judging by how some people behave when you give them a sliver of power, Discord moderator, yeah, that wouldn't be good. If some of these like religions are checking someone's morality, they gotta check. Like, literally, Abe Lincoln said, you want to see a man's true intentions, you give them a little bit of power. It's true. A person really shows who they are when they get or lose a certain amount of power. That's why they talk about like leadership versus authority. Authorities are just that. They have the title of some type of authoritative position, but a leader is willing to help the people that they're around, help actually pull the wagon or help out. They're not in it for the titles. All that stuff. Well, I guess I'd call that a night. Good stream. I will see everyone around. Tune in Friday for the update.